Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back. This week, we are going to be using something called texture. And texture is how something feels. Does it feel soft? Does it feel rough? Does it feel bumpy? How does it feel? And so what you're going to do is I want you to find different objects around your house that have different textures to them. And I'm going to show you some examples of what I found around my house. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a toothbrush. Has texture. You can see the different texture here. Even this part of the texture, the toothbrush, the handle has texture. The back of it has a different texture than the bristles of the toothbrush. Has lots of different textures on just one object. Another thing that I found around my house are buttons. And buttons have a smooth or hard texture to them. Or maybe they have a little fabric on top and they're a little soft on top, but they're hard on the bottom. Or maybe they have some texture on top that's a little bumpy on them. So lots of buttons have lots of different textures to this one. This one has some ridges in it, and so when I feel it with my finger, I can feel those different ridges on it. So buttons are a good object to find around your house. Another object I found is a little messy, but it's sugar. And this is some really coarse sugar that has lots of grains to it. That's why I said it's a little messy, but you can see all the different grains and I can feel it. It kind of feels like sand, and that's a little coarse as well. And that's the texture. It's gritty and coarse for sugar. Sand, if you have sand around your home, that also has a lot of texture. Another thing I found is grass, and grass has texture to it. How does it feel? Is it soft? What does it feel like when you feel the grass outside? Something else I found inside my home is a sponge. How does the sponge feel? It's kind of springy and it feels a little rough to me. How does your sponge feel? Sponge is a good one that has lots of texture to it. Springs back. Look at that. Something else I found inside my home are cotton balls. And cotton balls are so soft and fluffy, and they feel so nice on your skin. Cotton balls are a nice texture, a nice soft, fluffy texture. When I checked my mail yesterday, I got a package. And inside that package, I found some bumpy bubble wrap. And this bumpy bubble wrap has a really nice bumpy texture to it. It's also really fun to pop them. Little pops. The last thing around my house that I found is some crinkly aluminum foil that feels really nice to crinkle and makes like a lightning and thunder sound, like a thunderstorm, but a gentle one, so as not to scare us. But it has some texture. It can be soft, or you can crinkle it up and it can be a little bumpy and rough. So these are some of the things that I found around my house that have lots of different textures to them. And what I want you to do is I want you to go on a scavenger hunt and find some objects that have texture to them, just like I found. And we're gonna do something with those objects. So make sure that there's something that you don't use all the time or that you can spare, because we are going to use them and I don't want it to be something that's important to you or to your family. Okay, so make sure it's something like cotton balls or sugar or a sponge that no one's using, even a toothbrush that's not being used. Don't use your own toothbrush. Find a toothbrush that is not yours or your family's. Some toothbrush not being used and will not be used, okay? So find these objects, go on a little scavenger hunt and try to feel all the different objects and think about what they feel like in your hand when you touch them, okay? So I want you to explore and find lots of different textures. Have fun, and we'll see you soon.